Welcome to class. Today we want to look at the topic inseparable preposition. Why do we say what are prepositions? Prepositions are words that indicate a relationship, that indicates position. For example, to, for, in, with, by, as, and like. Later we are going to look at from, which is mean. So in Hebrew, the letter for to or for is the word lamed. And the word for in, with, or by is the word bet. And the word for as and like is the word calf. But now, how do we now use it? Because, for example, in English, you want to say from man. You write from, then you write man separately. But in Hebrew, it's going to be together from man. That is why it is called inseparable preposition. They are not separated from the words they govern. Are you getting what I'm saying? They are not separated. So like I said, lamed stand for to or for. Bet stand for in, with, or by. Calf stand for as or like. That is the way it is in Hebrew. But now, with an ordinary, if you want to now conjunct or add them to a word that is ordinary letter, that starts with ordinary letter. For example, you want to say to king, like Melech. Melech is king. Melech. You now want to say to king or to a king, you use the word lamed. But the lamed is not going to stand vowelless. You put simple shewa under. So what you have is le melech. Le melech. That is to or for a king. And the same thing applies. If you want to say in or with king, you write ke, be, melech. Melech. Be melech. If you want to say as or like king, you write ke melech. Ke melech. That is the way it goes. That is, when the letter you are adding it to begins with an ordinary letter. If the word you're adding it to begins with an ordinary letter, that's the way you are going to make it. But when it begins with a word that begins with a shewa, a word that begins with shewa, for example, we want to say to Samuel. First of all, Samuel is Shemuel. 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 This is Shemuel. That is Samuel. Shemuel means Samuel. Shemuel. Now, if you want to say to Samuel or for Samuel, you first of all have to make the lamed and put simple shewa. But the principle in Hebrew is that two simple shewas cannot follow together. You cannot have two shewas together. So, what will have to happen is that you have to drop one of the pointings under lamed to, for example, let's say this is the way it is. Now, it cannot be, this is wrong, this cannot be. Let me use the red pen to indicate that it cannot be. This cannot be. So what you are going to do is this. You put the to, then the Shemuel. Shemuel. Mohel. So what you do is that you drop the simple shewa, which is 2 dots, to just 1 dot. So what you have, if it's also have to be in with by Samuel, Shemuel. So is first of all be, but 2 shewas cannot follow. So what you do is that you drop 1 shewa, So it becomes Bi Shemuel, Li Shemuel, Ki Shemuel. So To for Samuel is Li Shemuel. Instead of Le becomes Li Shemuel. In which by Samuel becomes Bi Shemuel. As or like Samuel becomes Ki Shemuel. But there is a divergent. There is a divergent to this rule, because in Hebrew, there is always an exception to most of the rules and principles. So in the case of when the word begins with a ye, for example, Yehuda. Let me give you an example of this. Yehuda. Yehuda, which simply means Judah. Yehuda means Judah. You cannot say to Judah. You know, two shiwas cannot follow, so you drop one. But that is not applicable in this case. You can't use that rule in this case. Yehuda. So what happens is you're supposed to have, you have to drop the shiwa that is even under the yod. Are you getting that? Is this yod which was having this point in ye, we have to drop the ye. That is, this yod quizzes and loses its consonantal character. It no longer becomes a consonant. You drop the simple shiwa under it. You drop the simple shiwa under the lamed also to just an erect. So it becomes the yod quizzes and becomes a vowel. So what you have instead of Li Yehuda is Lihuda. Instead of Li Yehuda, you have Lihuda, because the yod loses its consonantal character. And the same thing happens. You have to add the bet. The bet. It's also going to be Bi Yehuda. That is in with by Judah. As Judah becomes Kihuda. But there's also a divergence to this. Let me just drop this off so that I can understand another divergence, which is the fourth one, is a letter that begins with guttural. I know I told you that the guttural letters have their own peculiarities. For example, a word like Ari, which is a lion, you have Ari. You know, guttural letters cannot carry simple shewa. What they carry is composite shewa. So you have Ari. This is lion. So if you want to say to lion or to a lion, first of all has to be le Ari. But that is not possible. You drop, according to the principle, this, because two yods cannot follow. But this does not even follow. What you do in this case is that you take the corresponding short vowel that's under the guttural and repeat it under the vowel, under the inseparable preposition. So it becomes la-ari. If it is, what you have here is a segor, the lamet will also carry segor. This short vowel will be repeated under the preposition. It's going to be repeated. So what you are going to have is, instead of you having, for example, instead of you having li, a, ri, you rather have la, a, la-ari. You can say it la-ari. As you pronounce, you get used to it and you understand. La-ari. There is another divergent to this. There is another divergent. Now, what are we talking about here? The word Elohim. Elohim. Definitely, the word Elohim begins with an aleph, which is a gotcha, and it has composite shewa. If you have to follow the rules we just enunciated, what are to God, which is Elohim is God. Now to God becomes Elohim. But that is not going to happen. Both this preposition and the guttural letter, which begins the word, loses everything. Everything is removed. Everything is removed. So what are we going to do instead? You now put, because this aleph, which begins Elohim, loses consonantal character, you now put a seray, a very long vowel, under. So what you have is Lelohim. Lelohim. Instead of me having Elohim, you have Lelohim. You have Lelohim. You have Lelohim. Now, apart from these three inseparable prepositions that have been explained here, there is another preposition. And that preposition is min, which is from. Min. This is final noun. Let me write it better. Min. This is final noun. Min, which is from. Now, these ones, how do you now use it? Before an ordinary letter, for example, you have Shahul. Shahul. Which simply means Saul. Saul. So if you want to say to Saul, or for Saul, or as Saul, with Saul, or you don't even say, let me say, I'm sorry, we are looking at the word from. You want to say from Saul, mean. So what we are going to do is this. You just write Melech and put, then the noon drops. The noon drops. The noon you drop the noon. Let me use the red letter to indicate that. You drop the noon. So what you have eventually is me, sha, hul, min sha, hul. So, but how do you do this? Min shahul. Min shahul. So, once this noun is dropped, it has to be compensated for. Just like the principle we have used in the past, then you put dagesh forte compensative here, and it doubles this letter. So what you have is min. Instead of min shahul, you have me shahul. But we need to remember that this principle cannot be applied to a letter that begins with a gotcha, because gotcha cannot be doubled. When you put min and you drop the noon, you cannot compensate for the noon that has been dropped by putting a dagesh forte in the next letter, which begins with a gotcha. For example, you have Adam. This is Adam, which means man. You now want to say from man. From one, first of all, is mean Adam. But you drop the noon, and you need to compensate for it. But it is impossible. You cannot compensate that way. So what you are going to do is that you are going to elongate. So it becomes me. Adam. Because you cannot compensate and put a dagesh forte here, then the vowel under the mem becomes sere. So you have me Adam. And this is the way it's going to be done for every letter with a gotcha. But there's also and sometimes when you want to say, now you say from Adam. Now if you have to say from the man, from the man, so it becomes or or from king, from the king. First of all, this is from, mean ha Adam. Mean Adam. So it's better you leave it separated. It's better you leave it separated. And that makes it what is going to be mean Adam. This is from the man. From the man. And so that is all I want you to look at. Go back from the beginning, which is from Topher, which is Lamed, Bet, Li, Le, Me, Ke, which now changes as we apply it. So look at this. Are you getting me? And look at both the inseparable preposition from, to, from, in with, by, as, like, or from.